Zach lay amidst the rubble, mentally checking his body for any signs of serious injury. Dust and debris clung to his hair and clothes. His lungs rebelled against the part of the latent air, each called for violent explosion, rivaling the conclusive force that had hurled him to the ground. Voices pierced the smoky veil, their echoes bouncing off the shattered remnant of what was once a grand symbol of democracy. Zach's ears rang with a high-pitched whine, the aftermath of the blast that had sent shockwaves through the very foundation of the Capitol building. He pushed himself up on trembling arms, grit biting it into his palms. Determination etched into every line of his body. Over here, his voice was ragged, barely audible over the din of sirens and the distant rumble of collapsing masonry. He wheeled his legs to support him, driven by the innate need to stand tall amid adversity. Staggering to his feet, he took a halting step, then another, his balance uncertain. The smoke curled around him like a living beam, obscuring his vision, threatening to swallow him whole. His eyes stung, tears mingling with the sweat and soot streaking his face. "Keep talking. We're coming for you." Zach's hand went to his earpiece, but it was gone, likely a casualty of the blast that had nearly claimed more than just his equipment. His instinct screamed at him to move, to find a way out, but his training as a government agent held him steady. He knew the rescue team would reach him. His job was just to survive until they did. The smoke parted like a certain drawn back by an invisible hand, revealing a squad of firefighters and EMTs. Their faces set with grim determination. Their approach swift, their gear clanking with each step, a symphony of salvation. "Agent Force," one of them called out. Here, Zach managed to grunt, leaning heavily on a broken column for support. "Let's get you out of here, sir." Arms wrapped around him, guiding him away from the epicenter and devastation. Each step was a battle, his limbs rebelling after the adrenaline surge that had fueled his earlier entrance. The problem of the rescue operation swirled around him. Shouts, the crackling of fire, but within the circle of rescuers, there was a resemblance of order, a pocket of calm in the eye of the storm. As they emerged from the wreckage, the moonlight seemed unnaturally bright. Zach squinted as his head began to throb. "Easy does it, Agent. Watch your step here." He allowed himself to be led past the threshold of danger and into the open, where medics waited with stretchers and blankets. He leaned heavily against the hood of the emergency vehicle. The metal cooled through his tattered shirt, trying to piece together the fragments of the past few minutes. "Zach." The urgency in that voice cut through the haze enveloping his mind. Zach lifted his head, squinting as two figures pushed through the throng of medical personnel and uniformed officers. Maya's dark hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, her FBI badge glinting in the sunlight beside her. Riley's presence was a comfort, her determined eyes scanning him from head to toe for injuries. "I can't believe you're alive," Maya said, reaching him first. Her hands hovered around him as if afraid to touch, yet needing to confirm he was real. "We saw the blast, we thought. Is everyone?" Zach started, but his thought tightened around the words he couldn't finish. "Alive." because of you. Relief softened Maya's features. No retaliations reported, Zach. It's a miracle. Riley stepped closer, her gaze unwavering. You did good, part. You saved lives today. Did what I had to do, Zach replied, brushing off the accolade with a shake of his head. His mind darted back to the crypt. The bombs weighed in his arms and sprint for survival. You're a hero, Zach, Riley said. We're heroes, he corrected, locking eyes with her. We're partners, remember? Couldn't have gotten this far without you. She nodded, a mixture of pride and camaraderie shining through the suit of her face. They stood there amidst the clamor of rescue efforts, sharing a moment of silence, understanding. Their partnership had been forged in the fires of adversity, and today it had held strong when it mattered most. Zach could feel the weight of his own body beginning to drag him down. The adrenaline that had surged like an electric current through his veins was fading, leaving behind a bone-deep exhaustion. This was the aftermath no one talked about. The leading limbs, the taste of grit in your mouth, the way your heartbeat seems too loud in the sudden quiet. Let's get you checked out, Riley suggested, her hand now resting lightly on his shoulder, lifeline, grounding him. Sure, Zach agreed, though through his legs protested at the thought of moving again. He was tired, and not just in the physical sense. Battles like these took something from you and chipped away at your resolve, even as they reaffirm your commitment to the cause. Before they could find a medic, however, Angela Horowitz appeared, her approach almost spectral through the lingering smoke. Agent Force, she said, her voice carrying the debt of gratitude that resonated in the stillness. You've done more than you'll ever know today, Miss Horowitz. Zach nodded to her, noticing the fatigue etched into her feature, the strain of recent events. Just doing my job. Your job just prevented another disaster, Angela said earnestly. Your country owes you a great debt. And now just your country, and not just your country, she added, her gaze solemn and piercing. People all over the world, your country owes you a great debt. Zach shrugged. He had never cared for praise. Besides, it was too easy to give one person credit for the entire team's effort. The world's a bit safer today because of what we did, he said, quietly, feeling a sense of satisfaction, beginning to replace the exhaustion. That's what mattered. It was then that Liz Murdoch materialized from the throng of emergency personnel, her stride, purposeful, her expression, soap, force, she said, coming to stand beside her. Good work. I imagine you would like to know who it was you came across inside the building. I would indeed, Zach said, bracing himself for whatever comes next. The man you remember, Liz began, her voice low, was Minho Cho, a known North Korean operative. We suspected their involvement, but now we have confirmation. As Zach fought to hear the director, his ears rang in a high-pitched whine, the aftermath of the explosion still echoing into his head. The world around him felt muted, like he was trapped underwater. Every sound muffled and every movement sluggish. Liz paused, allowing the information to sink in. Child, planet that bomb under direct orders, or planet. It's part of a larger strategy to destabilize our nation's infrastructure, said not. His brow furious with thought. It's not just about North Korea, though. It is. This feels bigger, more complex, Liz signed, her shoulders sagging slightly. You're right, Zach. International terrorism isn't as black and white as we'd like it to be. It's a web of ideology, grievance, and power struggles. What drives a man to such extremes? To throw your life away like that? Often it's a mix of personal trauma and broader society issues, Liz replied. Poverty, political oppression, perceived injustice. These can all be breeding grounds for extremism. Zach nodded slowly in. Our own foreign policy plays a role too. I suppose action we'll take, even with good intentions, can have unforeseen consequences. Exactly. Liz agreed. It's a delicate balance. Every intervention, every sanction, every alliance, they all riddle out in ways we can't always predict. And sometimes those riddles turn into waves that come back to hit us. So how do we fight an enemy that's born from so many different causes? Zach asked, frustrated. What if we're just creating more terrorists in our attempts to stop them? Liz made his gaze steadily. It's not just about stopping attacks. It's about fostering stability, promoting education, and working towards global equity. It's a long game, Zach. Zach mulled over her words and said nothing. In the meantime, she continued. We do what we can. We protect our people. We gather intelligence. We can try to make informed decisions. It's not perfect, but it's necessary. Zach not. The world wasn't as simple as he once thought, but that's only made their job more crucial. Well, the good news is child won't be able or be part of any future strategies, he said. Maya's voice cut through the fog. Her hand on his shoulder grounded him back to reality. You better sit down before you fall down. He acknowledged, his legs folding beneath him, more from necessary than obedience. You need to rest, Jack, Riley said. You've earned it. Rest, he repeated. The word foreign on his lips. It seemed an impossible luxury given that it had just transpired. As he sat, every ache and pain announced itself. There was a throbbing in his left side where debris had peeled, and his fingers were numb, lightly from gripping the bomb with all his might. He glanced down at his hands, his father's hands, strong and callous from years of military service, and realized they were shock setting in. He murmured to himself, recognizing the signs. Adrenaline crashed, his eyes wandering over the damage, the blackened walls, the fractured ceiling. Lives had been saved today, yet the weight of responsibility bore down on him with relentless gravity. How many more men-hole childs were out there plotting destruction in the shadows? How many more times will we throw himself into the fire? Hey, Maya said softly, bringing his attention back. She offered him a bottle of water, which he took with gratitude. The cool liquid was soothing. Small mercy amidst the chaos. Thanks, he managed to say, offering with a nod. Her concern was to bear on. Just relax, she said, her hand resting lightly on his shoulder. We'll take it from here. Only for a moment, he murmured, allowing his eyelids to droop shut. Just for a moment. He let the darkness claim him before rising again to stand watch over the home he vowed to defend. And before he knew it, he was asleep.